Kemira's half-year financial report 2022 has been just published. Our Investor Relations will comment briefly the Q2 results. Hello, Mikko.
Hi, Tina. Nice to see you.
Despite the very turbulent business environment, Kemira had a strong Q2.
Well, indeed, we had a strong quarter overall. So we reported record high revenue during the quarter, and so the revenue growth was really driven by higher sales prices, while the sales volumes, they declined slightly due to our decision to exit the Russian market. Also, the operative EBITDA, that reached a record high level, but on the other hand, we continued to see strong inflationary pressure that we've talked about previously, and these were particularly related to energy, raw materials, and logistics. And as a result, our relative profitability, so the operative EBITDA margin, that declined slightly to 14.2%. But if you look at the segments, so pulp and paper, the largest segment, there we saw revenue growing by 29%. Customer demand overall was robust. From our figures, from our perspective, the sales growth was driven by higher sales prices, whereas sales volumes, they declined slightly due to the aforementioned exit from Russia. On the other hand, we were pleased that the operative EBITDA margin, so the relative profitability, that was resilient and was rather stable at 15.1% despite the strong inflationary pressure that we're seeing. Industry and water, our other segment, there we saw also revenue growing well by 34%, and this was also driven by higher sales prices. From the customer point of view, so demand in water treatment, that remained good, and the revenue in the oil and gas business that grew by 36%. From a profitability perspective, so operative EBITDA margin that declined to 13%, and this was due to the sort of strong inflation pressures that we're seeing.
And how is Kemira's profitable growth strategy progressing?
I'd say we announced several important milestones during the second quarter of this year. So first of all, we announced that we're establishing a growth accelerator unit. And the aim and the focus of this unit is really to sort of accelerate the commercialization of new bio-based materials that we've talked about, and also to find new opportunities in adjacent markets. And in addition to this growth accelerator unit, we announced that we are sort of expanding our partnership with Danimer Scientific. And with Danimer, we are working to commercialize bio-based barrier coatings for the pulp and paper industry, mostly for packaging. So I would say overall, several important steps taken during the second quarter.
And how does the rest of the year look like?
Well, we do see uncertainties related to inflation, the war in Ukraine, and the COVID-19 situation in Asia Pacific continuing. But nevertheless, we did upgrade our outlook for operative EBITDA in early June, and we now expect our operative EBITDA to grow from 2021, so to be above 425.5 million euros. And the outlook for revenue, that is unchanged, and we do expect revenue to grow from 2021. If we look at the rest of the year, so our base assumption is that inflation will remain strong, and we're also preparing for various scenarios should the energy availability be disrupted at some point in Europe during the coming quarters. And in addition, we will continue our sort of actions to mitigate the impact from the higher inflationary environment.
Thank you for the interview, Mikko.
Thank you, Tina.
And Kemira will host a Capital Markets Day in London on September 13th. Please visit our website and register for the event. Hopefully we will meet you in London. But before that, let's enjoy the summer.
Have a nice summer.